Every divorced man reaches a moment that feels unsettlingly cold. He realizes his story isn't rare. It's predictable. There's the man whose wife cheated, then demanded support as if betrayal meant nothing. The one who was left for another man, yet watched half his life's work disappear. The one who never abandoned his family, but still stood alone in court as the villain. At first, men think it's bad luck, a personal tragedy, a one-off situation. But over time, something deeply disturbing becomes clear. These stories aren't isolated. They repeat with precision. Divorce doesn't just end relationships. It exposes a hidden psychological game most men were never taught to recognize. A game where emotion hides strategy, where entitlement wears the mask of pain, and where unprepared men lose more than money, they lose peace. And it almost always begins with one dangerous belief. The belief that someone deserves what you built, simply because they were there. Some people don't see marriage as partnership. They see it as ownership. There are men who build everything from nothing. Years of exhaustion, silent sacrifice, unseen pressure. And then there's the partner who stayed close, but never built. When divorce arrives, they don't ask. They expect. I was there, they say, as if presence equals contribution. In their psychology, watching your struggle makes them a co-builder of your success. They don't separate support from creation. And when they don't get what they believe they deserve, they don't feel disappointed. They feel wronged. Entitlement doesn't see itself as greed. It sees itself as justice denied. But entitlement never stays quiet. When expectation meets reality, something inside them fractures. The most dangerous lie before leaving is this: once I'm gone, everything will finally be better. In their mind, leaving equals freedom, instant relief, immediate happiness. They imagine a better life waiting on the other side, but reality doesn't respect fantasy. Silence replaces validation. Loneliness replaces excitement. Bills replace admiration. Admitting regret would shatter their self-image. So instead, they rewrite the story. Suddenly, you were the problem. You drove them away. You ruined their happiness. This isn't logic. It's psychological self-protection. Blame becomes armor against guilt. And once blame takes root, it evolves into something far more intentional. Not every divorce starts with heartbreak. Some start with a plan. Some people don't leave because they're unhappy. They leave when the math works. Support payments, asset division, lifestyle preservation. Emotion fades. Calculation replaces it. Spreadsheets replace conversations. Exit strategies replace honesty. And when the outcome doesn't match the fantasy, they don't feel sad. They feel angry. Not because love was lost, but because the plan failed. And when someone plans an exit, they never let go without another branch secured. Some people never let go of one life until another is already within reach. Before divorce papers appear, emotional distance already exists. Conversations cool, conflicts multiply. This isn't confusion, it's preparation. They build justification while securing the next attachment, emotional, financial, or both. They don't leave alone, they transfer dependence. And when the fantasy relationship collapses, they don't return driven by love. They return driven by fear. But nothing destabilizes them more than seeing one thing they didn't expect: you surviving without them. The moment you start getting better, something inside them cracks. They expected you to fall apart, to suffer, to need them. Your pain validated their decision, but instead you stabilize. You regain focus. Your life improves. That improvement becomes a threat, not because they miss you, but because your growth removes their control. They reappear. They monitor. They interfere. This isn't love. It's surveillance. This is where most men lose control, unless they understand how manipulation feeds. Manipulation doesn't survive on power. It survives on reaction. Anger energizes it. Defensiveness feeds it. Explaining sustains it. Every emotional response teaches it where leverage exists. That's why they provoke, reopen wounds, resurrect the past. When you go calm, brief, emotionless, manipulation starves. It escalates briefly, then collapses. Men who win don't out-argue manipulation. They out-prepare it. Truth doesn't shout. It waits. Emotional performances look convincing. Tears, outrage, accusations. But evidence doesn't perform. Messages, timelines, receipts. Prepared men don't need to persuade. Facts speak. While manipulators perform, prepared men remain still. Courts notice the difference. But even with proof, there's a deeper damage few talk about. Betrayal doesn't just break trust, it fractures identity. Men don't only lose relationships, they lose certainty. They question memories, judgment, reality itself, and yet they're told to move on. But betrayal creates real trauma. Sleep fades, focus dissolves, confidence erodes. This isn't weakness, it's a wounded nervous system. Healing requires acknowledgement, not denial. And the men who regain control don't chase closure. They make one irreversible shift. The strongest position a man can take is acceptance. Acceptance that some people will never take responsibility, that apologies may never come, that closure isn't guaranteed. This isn't surrender, it's clarity. Energy stops leaking into pointless battles. Boundaries replace emotion. Peace replaces chaos. You don't win by proving truth to someone committed to distortion. You win by becoming unreachable. If this felt familiar, you're not alone. Share your experience. Your story may protect another man.